Hello, good afternoon to all of you. Can you please hear me? So, okay. So I can see some of you on the chat. For example, Anil Krishna Paul has mentioned that has said good afternoon. So thank you. So I just wanted to check if we all are connected. Good, Kirti, Ellen. I can see all of you. Indu. So very nice, very nice, very nice. So let me start, and we will interact at a later point of time. So I'm Professor Ravi Shankar. I'm professor at the Department of Management Studies in IIT Delhi. And this was a long-awaited webinar. And the topic is designing and managing supply chain, some theory and cases. In fact, what I have tried, later you will find very interesting, that through the case studies, I will derive some theory or learning lessons. So are you ready for such things? And the prerequisite for today's session, that I will presume that you know nothing in the area. So you should feel good. So those of you who are never exposed to supply chain management, for them, this session could be further more interesting. And once again, good afternoon to all of you, because I can see a lot of messages popping in. And can we move to the next slide? So, okay, so I have to do that. Just a minute. So, next, fine. So, what we are going to cover in this session, that we will understand what is supply chain management. And once again, my approach would be through a case study of Oxygen Express during pandemic, which we all know, and we have seen that very closely. We are happy that we survived the pandemic, especially the three phases. And what are the supply chain lessons from that? Because that this case of Oxygen Express that I'm going to discuss is very close to us, in the sense that many of us were very relieved when oxygen tankers started moving. Am I right? Keep typing yes or no in your chat box. And Dr. Joseph is saying that you can't see the speaker or the PPT. Dr. Joseph, so maybe the technical team, will you look into it? Dr. Joseph? Can you help Dr. Joseph or somebody? Others can see the PPT and me, and can you see me on your screen? Yeah. So Deepak has said yes. So those who can't see this may refresh or re-log in. So what we are going to do, so what is supply chain management? We'll learn through some examples and cases. That will be interesting. Then we will talk about another area, which is inventory management. And how to design a lean supply chain. I will give you some good lessons, Guru Mantra, through a role play. I call it magician in your classroom. I will talk about reverse logistics. We'll dive much, much deeper into the supply chain management area using case study. What I expect from you. If you have any doubt, please raise your question and we'll try to answer it. Fine, or towards the end, you can ask questions. We'll certainly give 10-15 minutes time for question answer also. Now, the occasion is very interesting because I have co-authored a book on designing and managing supply chain management, the 4th edition of it, with an MIT US professor, David Simchi-Levy. And this book is available in the market, also on Amazon and other book sites. So you can, if you feel it interesting and learn more things, maybe the book is available, in the Indian reprint. So very brief about me. I will take much lesser time on this. You can go to my homepage, and for going to my homepage, you can type my name and IIT Delhi. I am sure you can go to my homepage. But you will be happy to note that the Cambridge University in UK, the leading professor there, Sir Mike Gregory, awarded the most influential researcher award in the domain of operations and supply chain in 2016. So this was a very lovely memory for me. The other documented one is the Omega, which is a journal of high repute, and it has ranked the business management professors in India in terms of their ranking. And the good part is that they have ranked me and another one as a topmost researchers with it high, and also IIT Delhi is the topmost research productive institute. And also to tell you that many German professors, they authored, and they are the leading logistics professors of Germany. So they authored a working paper, and in that they published the logistics research in India. And to the best of my surprise, they ranked me at the top of this list. So today's session, you are in safe hand. I hope you all, Avtarji, I hope you can appreciate. So let us proceed further. Let's start with the supply chain basic concept. So I will try to save as much time as possible for the discussion part. The technical team, can you put it on the full slide view on the screen? Yeah. So as you see, friends, that supply chain management, if you see, is a very comprehensive picture where we have a production flow. There is a manufacturer. In supply chain, generally we call OEM. We can also call manufacturer, but OEM. Now the procurement or purchasing is done from a supplier, and adjoining supplier is tier 1 supplier. Tier 1 gets material from tier 2, as you can see here. And this side, supplier side, is called as upstream of the supply chain, upstream or inbound logistics. I hope I'm clear. So inbound logistics is for the procurement. And on the downstream side, with reference to the manufacturer or OEM, are the customer side. So in this side, downstream, there are distributor, retailer, CNF agents, and things like that. And the entire supply chain involves many processes, especially demand management, order fulfillment, supplier relationship management, and many similar things. Now I'm going to share with you a very important statistics. Now this is being referred by many in our area in India, especially India. If you see now, our contribution, the contribution of the logistics, or as a percentage on the GDP, is around 14%, 14% plus. Whereas for developed nations like US is 8.5%. Now, do you know, this is very problematic statistics, and this is, as a supply chain professor, now I strongly feel that this 14% is a big money, big. I mean, you know, the GDP. So 14% of that goes in the logistics. Now, we can never be a developed nation unless it is brought down below 9%. So, how can we do that? And is there some focus on that? Yes. You all must have heard about the PM Gati Shakti that was launched last year, approximately September. And in this budget, country's budget, Now a lot of money has been allocated to PM Gati Shakti. You will be happy to note that government is spending on the PM Gati Shakti, and a lot of money will go in the infrastructure development for the logistics. One example to this, just an example, why this is an important number. So 14%, why we should bring it down to, are we not, yeah, are, Kul, you can't see the slide? Why is supply chain management important? Technical team, because I am just moving from one slide to another one. Technical team, yeah. So yeah, why supply chain is important? Fine. So somebody wrote that we are still on the first slide. It's the 11th slide, as I can see. So one of the things that one example I would like to give on this. Now from Delhi to Mumbai, if I have to send goods through the road, now how much time does it take? Any guesses? Any one of you? Now maybe about 2 days, 48 hours. Now you have seen that a freight corridor. Now the way Delhi Mumbai corridor is being in the final stage. Now this time of order fulfillment from Delhi to Mumbai will take 24 hours or lesser. So what is the implication? Implication is that utilization of the truck will become almost double if the transit time is reduced to half. I hope you can appreciate that. So the moment it will happen, what will happen? The logistics cost will go down. And if logistics cost goes down, for the same operation, now for this, a lot of effort on the infrastructure would be needed. And PM Gati Shakti, for example, is aimed towards that. And I'm sure the type of effort being made, now it's going to make a big impact. So let's move further. So whole supply chain is towards achieving these goals. So what is supply chain management? A formal definition of it is that supply chain management is management of all the activities associated with 4 types of flows. So what are those flows? Flow of material from supplier side to the customer side. That's one. So supplier side is upstream, inbound. So from inbound to outbound, if material flows, this is called as material flow. Second is information flow. So which information? For example, customer gives the order, which retailers capture. Retailers places the order to the distributor. Distributor has many retailers. So all the distributors' order reaches to the manufacturers. There are many distributors. And of course, manufacturer places the order to the supplier, tier 1 and then tier 2. And material flows from upstream to the downstream. So please understand, information flows from downstream to the upstream, means customer side to the supplier side, and material flows from supplier side to the customer side. Now, management of these flows is supply chain. And please understand, you can't produce more than the demand or much less than the demand. This is not supply chain. Demand should match the supply should match the demand. So meaning thereby that material flow and information flow should match. It's a very difficult task. We'll see some of these things in session ahead. Fine. So, and also money flow and information flow. Let's move further. So there are 7 rights that we look forward towards in a good supply chain. What are those? Right product to the right customer at the right time, in the right condition, at the right quantity, in the right quantity at the right place, and in the right cost. And these 7 rights, if you achieve, you are a supply chain manager. I hope I am making sense to you. Now I am going to demonstrate you through a case study that, see, it's easy to say right product at the right place in the right quantity in the right quality and all seven rights, but how is it possible? And that is also at a low cost and high service level. So are you ready to take the case study, first case study? I hope you will say yes. Fine. So just see, this is a case study that I've taken from the book that I showed you, that Indian Railways and Oxygen Express. We all have seen it about a year back with a lot of excitement and euphoria. What was that? Let me talk about the background first. So Indian Railways is the lifeline of our country. You all know that. And the major income comes from Indian Railways through the freight transportation. You all will appreciate. Then the total track length 108.108706 kilometers, passenger every day 13 million and all that. So I'm not going into the depth of it. You can read it if you get time and you're interested. Let me go to the learning lessons. So Oxygen Express, the first one on April 19, 2021, the first Oxygen Express left Mumbai to Vizag, and 7 trucks in the train. And each Oxygen Express train, around 16 tons of oxygen was loaded in cryogenic tanker. So in my childhood, I used to listen to a story that an elephant has to move from one end of a river to another end, and I mean a boat was hired, and elephant moved on the boat from one end of the river to another end. Now it is a childhood story. Now similarly, Oxygen Express, a truck moving on a train. Now it's a matter of great surprise to me, to all of us especially. But Indian Railway achieved this important milestone, and what happened is 7 rights. They achieved 7 rights, boys and friends. 7 rights. What was the right product? What was that? Oxygen to the right customer. Who are the customer? Patients struggling for oxygen in different hospitals at the right time, when they were gasping for the breathe, in the right condition, means oxygen quality should be good, in the right quantity, at the right place, in the every nook and corner of our country, in the hospital room, or maybe through the oxygen cylinders, maybe in your home, at the right place and at the right cost. Now whatever you say, is it not true that Indian Railway helped us to achieve these 7 objectives of a supply? The moment you do this, friends, this is the goal of supply chain management. But of course, in a business context, it should be done at a minimum cost at high service level. Unfortunately, this is not an easy job, because if you want to reduce the cost, your inventory goes down. If you keep a lot of inventory stocks, now your carrying cost of inventory is very, very high. However, in case of oxygen cylinder, cost was never a concern. Government of India was very liberal, and they never bothered about the cost implication. That was but corporate doesn't run like that. So we have to reduce the cost also, and high service level. High service level means what? Probability of meeting the demand is close to 1 or 100% service level, something like that. We have to. So the first Guru Mantra is that we learned from this case study. Now is that every supply chain should focus on these 7 rights. I hope I'm clear on this. The second Guru Mantra that we learned is that key to the success of supply chain is responsiveness. I call it agile supply chain, and efficiency. Efficiency means low cost. So for low cost, I told you one thing, that reduce inventory. Because lesser is the inventory, lesser would be cost or money blocked in the inventory. What is agility? I'm explaining you, and just understand. Can you see this girl in the boxing ring? Can anybody recognize this? She is pride of India. Do you recognize? I don't see anybody responding. But nonetheless, my lesson to you is that suppose in a technical team, can you put me on the spotlight? Yeah, Mary Kom, right. So just see that I'm in a boxing ring, and Mary Kom, there is a boxing with the lady that you saw. So if she's striking, hitting me like this, and if I stand just like that, I will go to the ground. This can happen if I'm not agile. So what do I do? If this if this hand is coming towards me, I will take a back seat. So I will respond back. I will quickly take a posture like this. You can see me on your screen. This is agility. Quick response to change. The moment supply chain responds quickly to the changes, extraneous is outside the supply chain or within the supply chain, if it can respond quickly and effectively, now this is agility. This is another aim of supply chain, quick response to change. Let's go to the slide, technical team. So what happens? Yeah. So what really happened that two important things are needed to make a supply chain agile and connect it with the oxygen cylinder supply. Quick response to changes. So you must have seen a lot of chief ministers. I would name them. They were shouting from the rooftop that only, so we need oxygen. Hospitals were shouting that only 24 hours of oxygen supply is left. And one has to cope up with that for that. So two V's are important in a supply chain to make it agile. What are those two V's? First V is velocity. You should do it fast. If in a hospital oxygen reaches after the patients have died, now it makes no sense. So if the boxer is trying to hit me, I have to move fast. That's point number one. First V, velocity. And second is the visibility. If I put my hand like this and can't see, now the box, I'm fast, but I can't move. So there should be visibility of every situation. In the COVID time, what we see that there were very delayed requirement coming from the hospitals, and therefore coping up with the lead time was very short to replenish that. But nonetheless, the oxygen supply to the, I mean, in a big country like that of ours, now Indian Railways supply really helped many hospitals, and I'm sure that millions and millions of the lives were saved because of this supply. So two important V's to make agile. Agile means quick response to changes. What are those? Velocity and visibility. Visibility means information system should be good. All hospitals need to be connected. So in our case, maybe all retailers and all distributors are connected. So you should know the demand position. And if you know the demand position, that's visibility. And then the replenishment cycle should be very efficient, quick, so that you can quickly replenish the items. What about the retail supply chain? Items are very near to the retailer's place shop. So where? It is stocked by distributors. So distributors, they put the item, and from there retailers are very nearby. So the replenishment cycle is fast. Had it been a manufacturer and no distributor, now the velocity would have been slower. So so these are the two important things for agility. And the second goal of supply chain is lean, inefficient. So it requires reduction in the inventory level. I will talk about it as we move little further. How to design a lean supply chain. The third important guru mantra that we can learn, that a supply chain is as strong as its weakest link. So how it was demonstrated here. So the Indian Railways were moving the oxygen tankers from Vizag to Mumbai, Nagpur, and whatnot. But what after railway station? See, the roads are blocked. There are red zones, green. You must have seen yellow zones. So the truck driver does not know the location of the hospital, and we need to move the truck very fast. So this, I typically call it last mile delivery. Last mile delivery problem. And this last mile delivery, how it was coped up? So local administration from the railway station, they took charge and they escorted the trucks, oxygen cylinder trucks, to the hospitals in the shortest possible time. Had that link been weak, in some parts there were problems, but had that link been weaker, now your supply chain is not good. And there are many companies now, they are making a lot of money in the last mile delivery problem. Recently, I saw that there is a company called Delivery. I hope you have heard that. Now they have an IPO recently. But 2 days back, the Delivery had an IPO. Do you know where they specialized when they started with? They specialized in the last mile delivery. So a lot of money is there because the pin codes. Now look at if you have seen the video of the Delivery, it's there. It's coming. Now they cover majority of the pin codes of our country, and they know the interior details of everything. So what is there? So they specialize into this. So if that part is weaker in the supply chain or any other part, for example, your tier 1 is not good, now then also there is a problem. You all must have heard a lot of product recall. There are many occasions when car were recalled. Why? Because steering has a problem. Who supplies the steering? Maybe a steering supplier like Sona Steering. So Maruti has to recall the whole car or replace the car. Metal toys. Now in China they are produced. So on the paint, lead is there, and children used to eat the paint. So the whole big chunk of toys were recalled. Another example related to the Nestle Maggi. It was recalled. The weaker link was some of the, So it creates a lot of brand erosion also. Having said so, your supply chain is as strong as its weakest link. Fine. So let's move next. Then humanitarian supply chain, like oxygen supply, it requires very, very fast response time. And many times we have not done that well. For example, Uttarakhand flash flood, Gujarat earthquake, tsunami. But we have learned our lesson. In recent past, in the coastal area, whenever there are issues, now hardly any life is lost. In the recent past, we have seen that. Recently in Odisha there were cyclone, but loss of life were very, very minimal. So you just see, we have to learn that. And there's a video. Can you see that video?
Some of the oxygen supply related stories that are making headlines. The first oxygen express train that left Visakhapatnam on Thursday arrived in Maharashtra's Nagpur last evening with 7 tankers carrying medical oxygen amidst the second deadly wave of COVID pandemic. 3 of the 7 tankers have been unloaded at Nagpur Junction. An oxygen express train carrying about 30,000 litres of liquid medical oxygen arrived in Lucknow today as UP is battling a sudden surge in COVID crisis. The special train carrying 2 truckloads of medical oxygen arrived in the state capital at 6:30 a.m. from Bokaro. The railway on Wednesday had said it will run a second oxygen express to UP after a request was received from the state government. Amidst the crisis of oxygen in the national capital, Max Hospital received fresh oxygen supply by tankers accompanied by police escort. Yesterday, the hospital sent out an SOS saying it was left with an hour
This is last
of
mile
oxygen
problem
supply
that I was
left
talking.
and was then provided with emergency oxygen.
Hello everyone, this is Rahul Kamal here.
Fine.
Hope you enjoyed this video.
So you have
For
seen
the latest
this video,
news,
and the learning lesson is again the same that I had discussed. And thank you, many of you are appreciating. So I really love your sweet comments. Sweetie ji and Purushottam ji and others have and Professor Saab, आप भी बता रहे थे कुछ. So Dev Malia ji is so nice of you. So the lessons are well delivered. Now the fifth Guru Mantra that I can share with you, that quality information. This is a very interesting rule. Quality information such as accurate information dissemination and information dissemination and forecast, if we can do by any means, in our book we have especially mentioned how to improve the forecasting accuracy. So it is intangible. Information is intangible, but if our information is quality is good, means good forecast is there, it reduces inventory problem. What is inventory problem? Stock out or a lot of stock. So both are killed together. So in the Oxygen Express case, the information quality, in my opinion, and it's my personal opinion, was not very, very good as far as the demand things are concerned. On a very last moment, the chief minister is shouting, the local administration is saying, or hospital is saying, that only 10 hours of oxygen is left at our place. Now, there could have been better information quality in terms of forecast. Had that been the case, the situation would have been better. So as intangible, like information, quality information, demand information improves, now your inventory problem goes down. Yeah. So these are the 5 Guru Mantras that I shared. So let's move to the next case study. Quickly, I have to move a little faster now. So on the Maruti, this is again from the book. So Maruti Suzuki India Limited, it started in 1981 as a joint venture between Government of India and Suzuki Motors. Now it has traveled a lot of miles, and these days this is one of the benchmark companies of our country. It's working very fast on the EV sector, also electric vehicles, and also hybrid cars. So they have really perfected a lot of things like lean manufacturing system, just-in-time manufacturing system, and vendor management, vendor rationalizations. And on the information management side, they have an e-Nagare system, e-Nagare, through which they are connecting all the vendors and the OEM. On the distributors are also network. Yeah, Devrat is asking VMI, vendor managed inventory. So what they do, that vendor managed inventory is a strategy where the vendor is managing inventory for the OEM. So Maruti does not have an incoming store for many of items. So their vendors, say for example, Sona Steering, they maintain inventory for companies like Maruti. So this is again a benchmark case study that more details are available in the book. So, but the learning lessons are the upstream of the supply chain, which I already mentioned to you. Team, can you put the slide on the full screen? Yeah. So if you see the upstream side, there are various activities, like say for example, from where to procure, and order placement, procurement cycles, and things like that. They do the supplier assessment, supplier development, supplier vendor rationalization. What is vendor rationalization? Now the trick here is reduce the vendor base as less as possible. So about 15-20 years back, Maruti had 300 vendors. Now they tried very hard to bring it down to 100. So what is the advantage of that? Lesser is the number of vendor base, smaller is the vendor base. Now they can focus more on developing the vendor, transferring the technology to the upstream vendors. And Maruti is really perfected on that. On the downstream side, in the case of Maruti, there is the dealer only. There is nothing like retailer or distributor. So they have disintermediated distributors. Even retailer is called as dealer, or you can call them distributor. Nonetheless, there is only one downstream supply chain partner. So lesser is the number of supply chain partner as the case of Maruti. Now your downstream cost goes down because profit is shared between the downstream supply chain partners like retailer, distributors, CNF agents, etc., etc. So Maruti has a very smaller downstream supply chain. And because of this, their distribution costs are also lesser and very well organized. And you will see the dealer of the Maruti, now they are very, very well integrated. It's not the case of FMCG companies like, say, for example, Dabur, that one retailer does not know the other retailer. In case of Maruti, the dealers are connected with one another. So this is again something very great in case of this automotive supply chain. Now here is a great role play in the book that we co-authored. A magician in the classroom of an MBA class of Kashi Varanasi School of Management. And I will give you a role play. I will give you a situation and derive the Guru Mantra. Team, can you put me on the spotlight? Can you put me on the spotlight? Yeah. So participants, just see me and imagine I'm the best magician of the world. The best that you can imagine. I know the magic. You ask me, I come to you and you ask me, Professor, I want a pen. So I do something in the sky and bring you here. So here is your pen. Have it. If you ask me, Professor, I want your book on the supply chain management. So I do something in the air, and from the air, I give you this book. Here is your book. Now suppose I know that magic. This is magic. And don't question that this is magic without, how can you do that? So air supplies me that. Suppose. So what happens? So I as a magician, I entered in your classroom. You are in a classroom. You are asking me something. So somebody asked me that I want a pen. I gave you a pen immediately. You book, I gave you the, what I do, I plug it from the air and give it to you. Now, if I can do that magic, and suppose I'm a perfect magician, how much inventory I have in my sleeve, in my pocket, how much? I don't need to keep any. Zero inventory, no stock, but I know the magic and my supplier can supply immediately the moment I demand. Air is my supplier, tier 1 supplier. And you are in the downstream, there is no distributor, no retailer. I am the OEM. So in the supply chain, is a dream supply chain. No inventory, only one piece. It travels and very quickly it reaches in the hand of the customer. The moment demand is there, at no time you get your item. Now this is the best supply chain of the world that one can ever imagine. If this, and your role is you are a student. So don't go beyond that. You are a student, you are a kid, and you have seen the magic in the classroom. Don't argue that how can air supply. Imagine that air can supply. The moment I requisitioned any requirement, I am the OEM. You are the customer. Air is the supplier. If this is true, and you have understood your role, now my question as a professor to you is, how does this magician, without having any inventory, has a service level of 100%? What is 100%? Every demand is met. Whatever quantity you ask, I can supply. And my time of replenishment is almost zero. How is it possible? Technical team, you put the slide on the screen now. How is it possible? So I look forward to, because I save my time. So trick here is that and again, 5 Guru Mantras, as we compress the lead time, our safety stock requirement becomes lesser and lesser. And if the lead time of procurement, production, and distribution is 0, I don't need inventory for high demand. My demand is very uncertain. I didn't know what you will ask for, yet my service level is 100% with no inventory at my end. So the trick here is, if I compress the lead time, procurement lead time, production lead time, distribution lead time, the inventory requirement or safety stock requirement goes down considerably. This is a trick which I teach through this magician example. So how to do that? Develop your supplier nearby. Your procurement lead time will be 0. Like Maruti, most of its vendors are like next door neighbor to Maruti. So something like that. Let's move a little further. Now I go to the third case study of Asian Paints. Now this is a dream again, an interesting supply chain. Asian Paints earlier used to make green, blue, red paint in this factory. Now it only makes white paint, as you can see, and there is a dealer tinting or coloring machine that you see red one in the picture. So now when you go to the Asian Paint shop, and I guess 5 liters of a particular color or shade, they put the white paint below that, set the computer, and the pigments are poured into the white paint. It is stirred well, and I get this. So this is the magic supply chain. Why this is so? Because only white paint is there in the upstream of the supply chain. In the downstream of the distributor or dealer, now there is only the color paints are there. So there is no stock of any color in the dealer shop. So this is a good example of a product which has a large number of SKU, stock keeping units, many colors and shades, maybe 300 in number. However, the stock in the dealer shop is very less because they keep only white paint. What a fantastic supply chain. So this is decoupling point is the dealer's coloring machine or tinting machine. Downstream is a pull supply chain, like just-in-time system. Upstream is a push supply chain based on, so white paints are through the push system or the forecast-based system. And downstream is a pull or just-in-time system. Fine, let's move next. So there's some discussion question. I'm just skipping that. Come to the delivery. Why I picked it up? Because recently I saw it in the IPO side also. So this is going to be one of the leading third-party logistics provider in days ahead, because it has got a massive plan, and of course they're linked to Delhi, so they have the name is Delhivery. So what is the good about this is that they have a wide reach. They have they cover every nook and corner of the country, and they're a 3PL. What is a third-party logistics provider? Third-party logistics provider is one who takes care of entire transportation, warehousing, and loading, unloading part. This is a 3PL. They do many things, but 3 important things: loading, unloading, transportation, and the third is warehousing. So Delhivery is coming up in a big way as a leading third-party logistics provider. So this book, this is covered in detail in the book. The next case is Dell Computer. What Dell does? Dell in the online business, or for example Amazon, they don't have a retailer or distributor, only a website for them. But they have a good shipment system. For example, Dell has works with FedEx, and that their entire distribution cost is very, very less. So what they have done, Dell, Amazon, and other one, the web-based companies, They have disintermediated their supply chain, and through this they do a lot of cost saving, and of course the lead time is also short. Another example is Benetton case study. So they are known for bright colors. They do the dyeing of the yarn. So earlier they used to dye the yarn, as you can see, and the moment they are dyeing the yarn, coloring the yarn, their red t-shirt, green t-shirts are decided here, which is 9th month early from the date of sale, or POS, point of sale. So while they have to forecast the red t-shirt requirement or blue t-shirt requirement 9 months ahead of a date of sale, because when they're dyeing the yarn almost 9 months ahead. So at the time of sale, now demand changes. Their forecast is never meets the demand. So there used to be a lot of green t-shirts, but demand is for blue and things like that in the retail shop. So they were really at a problematic stage. So what did they do? They delayed the product differentiation. So they, for a majority of their clothes, garments, they don't dye the yarn 9 months ahead. They dye the garment, which could be 15 days away, a fortnight away early to the sale. So the more they are nearer to the point of sale, and therefore their forecast for green, red or blue t-shirts are more accurate. It's quite similar to the Asian Paints. They have delayed the product differentiation of the color as late as possible in the supply chain. And this is called a postponement strategy in the supply chain. Very wonderful strategy to reduce inventory and reduce the wastages. So delayed product differentiation helps in reducing safety stock and supply chain cost. Fine. So I am sure you must have learned the advantages of postponement strategy. Before I discuss this further, is there some question? Because let me take some question also. Is there some question? So there is no question that I can see. So let me go to the LPG distribution. So this is an interesting case study, also very small, as you can see here, the LPG. Now recently what I have seen, that Ujjwala scheme which PM has launched, I am very proud of this scheme. It has served a good purpose in the country. It has got a transformational role for the BPL, below poverty line population. So there are critics, but I think you all have to understand that Ujjwala is really a great initiative, and we are proud of that. Now, if you see the transportation of this, now look at the way it is in truck. It is loaded, and the last mile delivery by the rickshaw puller, as you can see. So the trick here is the transportation. So somebody is asking about the magician example, the zero inventory. I think I couldn't read it well, so maybe I will take it up. Just wait for a few minutes and ask the technical team to paste that question on my chat box. Kul is asking, you can also announce that all the participants will get a certificate from McGraw-Hill. Oh, so our technical team is saying that you will get a certificate from McGraw-Hill for attending this session. I think, Kul, I'm right, if you meant that. So Vijendra is asking about value chain and supply chain. Vijendra, the value chain is nothing but it has got primary activity and secondary activity. So how the value is added on the product, which is also in the supply chain context. So supply chain also adds value. So value chain is a strategic approach towards that. And we focus on the value. In supply chain, we focus on the order fulfillment. Fine. So let's talk about the reverse logistics. a lot of issues are there in the reverse logistics. There are and when the product reaches to ends of its life, then they are to be recycled, reconfigured, and sometimes they are cannibalized and refurbished. So all these are reverse logistics areas. But the problem is in the reverse logistics, the forecasting is very difficult, as we have seen earlier, that in the forward logistics, forecasting is the key to the success. However, the reverse logistics, that's very difficult. So a lot of difficulties are there in the reverse logistics. Shashank is asking about intermediation. Shashank, intermediation is in case of Dell. See the if you disintermediate, there is no retailer, no distributor. For example, I order online. You have to re-intermediate something to make the supply chain successful. Amazon, for example, Amazon cannot work without a retailer unless there is a website and payment gateway. So Shashank, I mentioned about re-intermediation, that if you disintermediate the supply chain to reduce the cost, like Amazon or Dell, you have to re-intermediate something. What is that? Maybe a website. We should mimic the behavior of the retailer. And what behavior? Maybe the choices of the product, the catalogs, and also the payment gateway. So that is to be reinserted. Is Hindustan Lever is a distribution company? Hindustan Lever is not only distribution, but they are also OEM. Huh? So they have a full supply chain of procurement, distribution, and manufacturing. So, for example, come to this because I have to finish. Mobile phone. Mobile phone is a real maniac these days. Why? Because the number of mobile phones discarded these days are huge, stupendous. Why? Because all of us have a mobile phone. Mobile density in the urban area is more than 100%. So everybody is keeping more than one. Many of us are keeping more than one mobile, and we discard, say for example, every 2 years. Where does this mobile go? Where does the battery go? They try to pollute the water and all those things. So reverse logistics is a real big issue and challenge these days, especially when we talk of the sustainable supply chain. So I would like to, and similarly, automobile reverse logistics. Maruti has a true value system. So you second-hand car market. So one of the ways to delay the environmental degradation is to increase the life cycle of the car. Bhavesh has asked about difference between 3PL and 4PL. 3PL does mainly three things, sir. What are those? 3PL does loading, unloading, transportation, and warehousing. And 4PL, it coordinates many 3PLs. Ram Badan, I hope I got your answer. In shortest possible word, 4PL coordinates, do the planning through many 3PLs also. Fine. Somebody is asking, so it was a 3PL. It was a true value, which is a great initiative by Maruti to extend the life cycle of its product. And the details of all these are there. So how much time is left? My technical team, how much time is left? So anyway, so just a small announcement. I conduct a lot of courses. So my supply chain course, online course of IIT Delhi is over now. So now I don't know when I will launch, but from the June onwards, June 23rd or 24th, we are launching a certificate course on project management. So you can see eVidya, IIT Delhi, and the name of the course is Certificate Program on Project Management. It's very popular. If you have any interest on the project management, be in touch with me or through the service provider, and they can give you the details. It would address in the service provider. I don't know, but you can call me if you want, and maybe I can provide you more detail. Fine. So having said so, I have reached towards the end of this, and this is the book. You can scan the QR code, and if you want to go, I have just shown you a tip of the iceberg that we have covered in the course in the entry session. and the book provides a lot of, in the book a lot of supply chain analytics examples are many. And my email ID, you wanted that, somebody is asking about this. So you can buy it through the Amazon. So my email ID is r.s.research@gmail.com. So r.s.research@gmail.com. You can always contact me, and I'm sure the soft copy is also available through the publisher, so you can be in touch with McGraw-Hill. All those are there. Soft copy are there. Vijendra, you can get the copy. This book costs maybe 600 or something like that. You can want the hard copy. So very informative system, as Rama Reddy has said. I want to enroll, sir. So if you want to enroll, Vishwa Pratap, call me on my phone, send me a WhatsApp or an email to me. So email I have put already, r.s.research@gmail.com. You can go to my homepage. It's on IIT. On Google, you type my name, IIT Delhi, you can certainly get all the details. Dr. Amit is saying that very informative session, sir. So very nice. Thank you very much. And be in touch with me if you want any further detail, if you want to grow in the supply chain area. Vishal is saying thank you very much for such a wonderful session. Thanks, Vishal. I appreciate that. And feel free to be in touch with me. Somebody is asking about recording is available for this session or not. So I don't mind if the recording is available. This is with the McGraw-Hill. Very successful on SCMO, so I'm recommending it in the class. Fine, thank you. Yes, Sumeta, I can't note it down because the screen is moving very fast. So you can write me the email. So the screen is moving very fast. We need a soft copy. For that, you can talk to the. You can buy the book online also. I think this is possible. And those of you who are specializing in the supply chain, project management, or business analytics and optimization, I offer courses like that. So one of the forthcoming courses is the project management certificate course. If you get the link, it's okay. Otherwise, you can send me WhatsApp. I can give you the details. There is with the scheme of IIT Delhi certification. You can do that. And for the book, you can buy online or talk to the McGraw-Hill. They will provide you the links. Somebody can cost effective. I can't read very fast. The screen is moving so fast. I don't know. Can the efficient supply chain be responsive? Yes, of course. Somebody asking, Advit. Yes, that is called a push-pull supply chain. And we have a dedicated chapter on this. Purushottam is asking e-certificate, sir. For the project management course, e-certificate. Today's session, Kul is probably saying that McGraw-Hill will provide you a certificate. Very helping session, sir, in my PhD logistics sector. Shashi is saying, Shashi, you can be in touch with me. Any help that you want, I will be more than happy to extend that to you at no cost to you. So don't worry about it. Dr. Devmay is saying Amazon. Amazon, so you can get this book. Arun Gopi is telling that Mr. Reddy, great guidance of students of operations management. Thank you, Avuluri. I'm sorry if I pronounce your name wrong. And Vijendra is saying thank you, sir. Professor Exita Thakkar is saying nice session. Thanks, Professor. Thanks, Professor Exita. And be in touch if you ever feel like any guidance, any support, anything like that. Ajay Sinha is saying whether JIT and lean methods are practiced in Indian automotive industry. I think this is a question which is great question. Almost all automotive sector in India is practicing the JIT system, like say for example Toyota production system, and Maruti has a JIT system which they call Maruti production system also. So all these are covered in the book. So please have a copy of book and read it in detail. G. Purushottam is asking about feedback link. I don't know, but team can provide the feedback link. And Dr. Harish is saying thanks a lot for interactive session. Thanks, Harish. Krishna is, can you share the soft copy? For the book soft copy, you can buy that. Fine. Vish Pratap Singh is, thank you so much. I will join you soon. So thank you, Vishwa. And somebody. Vishal is saying an excellent session. Fine. So I don't know how much time is left. So I leave it to the team, Macro Hill,
Yes, sir.
to
Sir,
take it.
sir, am I audible, sir?
Yeah, you are perfectly audible.
Yes, sir. So we are already running out of time, and it was really a wonderful
Yeah,
session.
just
Thank you
one
everybody
question.
who attended
Maybe
this.
R.S. Somnath
Yeah.
is asking, Professor, can you intimate me the certificate program and project? See, Somnath, you can write me in a WhatsApp or email. Send me an email. I will respond back and provide you the link also. Otherwise, you can go to the IIT Google also. You can get the eVidya courses available from IIT Delhi. Fine. I don't see anything further. So many of you are giving your addresses, but I can't note it down. I have no way of copying your chat, but I appreciate all your comments. So thank you very, very much. And the team Macro
So
Hill is yeah.
we will definitely respond back to those comments as well. And if there are any questions left which you haven't answered, we will definitely surely mail you those questions through mail. So there is no need to worry
So
about
can you
anything.
share?
And
So Ellen Martin is asking about my contact number. So let me write that. Give me time. So my mobile number is, you can take 98110 33937. So I have typed it. And email, I'm repeating, r.s.research@gmail.com. So for me, it's a giving time to the society. So Vijendra, I can't note it down because I don't have a pen right now. And feel free to be in touch with me. Fine. And Raj is from Flipkart. Feel free to be in touch with me if I could be of any help to you. Shweta saying thank you. So thanks a lot to all of you. And I don't mind staying for 5-10 more minutes if the technical team allows. Otherwise they can close the session. Yeah, Vishal, you have rightly typed my name. Thank you very
yes, sir.
much to all of you.
Should we close down this session now? If there is any further question, we will surely mail you up.
Yeah, if there is any question from your side, participants, you can send me the WhatsApp or email, or maybe 2-3 minutes I can spend. But I think we had a very interactive sessions, and I'm very thankful
So
to
that's
Macro
a
Hill especially for their
non-ending
support.
question series, sir. It will never. Yes, sir.
So Vishwa Pratap is asking, how can we get today's certificate? Can somebody tell that? Cool, or somebody. Today, are you
Yes,
going
yes,
to give
sir.
some certificate?
Yes, sir. So all the
How will you?
participant will get certificate. It will take another 48 hours. You will receive through your mail ID. From the same mail ID you guys have registered, you will receive from the same mail ID.
Wow! I didn't know that. So are you? So I'm not going to get certificate. I know that, but I'm very happy that others are getting certificates. Thank you very much. It's a good initiative by Macro Hill to at least generate some interest
Yes.
in the area of logistics and supply chain. I'm really thankful to you, to all the Macro Hill team, and convey my regards to all the people who are part of this initiative. Thank you, Macro Hill, for this,
Sure.
and thanks all
Thank you so much,
participants
sir.
for your time, attention, and interest.
Yes. Shall we close now, sir?
Yeah, no problem from my side. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, everyone. Everybody will, as I said, everybody will get a participant certificate in next 24 or 48 hours maximum. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye for now.